Hello, my name is Jeff Rolka. I want to thank you for checking out my video. I did a video on the SSL mixing console a couple weeks ago, a month or so ago now, and I thought that I might get some questions about different aspects of it, and a really cool one came in about the preamps and recording bass and driving the bass through the pre's a little bit on it. So we're going to explore that today in this video. I'm going to pull out my bass guitar and show you again with the Mackie as a frame of reference the differences between the SSL and the Mackie. Truth be told, I haven't actually recorded any bass with this thing. I only did a bit of a level check and things like that, so this is as much an exploratory mission for me as it might be for you as well. All of this stuff I've bought with my own money. So there's no disclaimer to give because there are no disclaimers here. I have no sponsorships. I have no patrons except for you folks, those of you who choose to support me on Patreon or make a donation through the links in the description, stuff like that. You are the people who help me to keep this whole thing going. These companies like Mackie, Radial, SSL do not support me in any way. Now, additional note, just for fun, when you hear my voice speaking, I will be going through whatever device I am going to be playing the bass through. So currently you're hearing me through the Mackie. So if you're going to use one of these devices potentially as a voiceover unit, I saw that in the comments too, then this will give you a bit of a sense of that. I'm going to be getting the bass as close to 0 as possible. I will not use any compression that is outboard, so I will only be using things that are on the devices. The Mackie has no compression, so there's no compression here. Getting into the review, one of the differences between the two devices is that the SSL, as a selling point, indicates that it has a high Z button, so that if you're recording guitar or bass, you can engage the high Z and you don't need a direct box. The Mackie has no such function, so if you don't have a direct box, then you're going to have to really crank your preamps to get any kind of signal out of your guitar or bass, possibly even with an active pickup on the device, depending on how much output that particular active pickup has. I'm going to be playing a Fender P bass. It has passive pickups, so I'm using the Radial JDI. I bought that too, and no support from them either. But I'll be putting that in line as well, and so in some respects, you're not really just hearing the Mackie, you're also hearing the bass through the JDI. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the bass through the Mackie with the Radial, and then I'll put the Radial into the SSL, and then I'll take the Radial out so you can hear Radial Mackie, Radial SSL, SSL high Z with nothing else. Because of course the point here is that you should be able to use the high Z switch on this to get your bass or your guitars through the system without having to have additional items like that. So let's get started. Okay, so here we've got P bass, passive pickups, Radial JDI, Mackie. There's a bunch of cables all over the place, but once you'll see I'm playing, I think you'll be able to see the VU meters getting right about to 0. And there's the sound of the bass. About now you're glad I'm not your bass player. All right, let's switch over to the SSL. Right. Now we've got my voice going through the SSL. The stereo bus compressor is not currently engaged, just FYI. I'd have taken that out of the signal path. I am going through the JDI with the bass and then into channel 2 on the SSL. Thus far, we're just, gain is set appropriately. Again, we're looking for 0 here. We're getting up to 0. The question in the comments was asking about driving the preamps a little bit, so I'm going to drive it a little harder. Oops. Let's bring it down. Let's drive it harder. Little distortion. Let's back it down. Engage the compressor. Also, I'm not touching the knobs on the bass at all. I've left them set the entire time. So it's just the devices, the Mackie, the JDI, and the SSL. Let's try it a little harder. Oops, losing it. Bring it back up. Drive it harder still. It's interesting how much the compressor, I know compressors are supposed to regulate volume and smooth these things out, but it is really, really pushing back on that. I'm kind of curious to back it down somewhat, the compressor that is, and see how that affects things. And we'll do the opposite. Let's hit it a little harder. I apologize for my riffs. They're terrible tonight. Anyway, let's keep going. So thus far, we've always had the JDI as the front end of this. So I'm going to take the JDI out now. So we're going straight into SSL. That is, of course, supposed to be the point of the high Z. Now, actually, I played it doing the sound check without the high Z. You can still do that too. So we'll try that as well. Let's do that. All right, now we're lined in. Level seems all right. And this is straight into the SSL. The line level button's engaged, but we are not yet engaged with the high Z. So let's have a listen. Forgot to turn the compressor off. Here's it without the compressor. Super clean. Sorry, that's a little bit loud. It's really, really clean. Let's drive it a little harder. Still no compression happening here, neither on the G-Series bus compressor nor on the channel. Sorry, that's a bit loud again. And let's back it down, but get the compressor in the game here. Kind of a middling thing. A little harder. Let's hit it really hard. Pressing up on the channel strip a little bit. Now let's back it off, take the compressor out, and finally engage the high Z button. Looking for a level here for a second. Getting it not too hot, again around 0. Let's put the compressor in. Let's hit it a little harder. I'm not even going to try to slap anything because that would just be embarrassing for me. So I'm just going to keep on plucking away at here. And hopefully you'll get a sense of what the preamps sound like when you're recording a bass. Notice, the thing that I notice most about engaging the high Z is the feeling of playing the bass. I feel like I have to work way less hard. I mean, that shouldn't really be a surprise, but it really struck me when I engaged it, because I was playing along without it engaged, and it really, I thought the sound quality was good. I enjoyed it. It all seemed very responsive. I engaged the high Z, and immediately I felt like I could be a little bit lighter with my touch and just kind of enjoy playing the instrument ever so slightly a bit more. There is one other thing here that we haven't done. I haven't driven it that hard here with the compression in, so let's do it a bit more. Sort of pleasing little warm distortion on that. I haven't even touched the EQ, not even close. And this was all about preamps, and I kind of brought the compression aspect into it, but I just can't really help myself here. And I'm gonna add a little bit more, well, let's get a bit more neutral settings here. I'm gonna take that out actually. That's closer to the sound that I would typically go for. Let's warm it up. Fuss around with that a little bit. I want to see if I can get the compressor to just get in on the attack and then immediately get out onto the decay, so I get that nice little pushback. Let's sweep the EQ bit out. Take that out. Sounds pretty good in the cans. I'll have to check it out when we're done. Anyway, there you go. There is the sound of the P bass through the pre's. Again, JDI helping to make the Mackie our kind of bass line, just so we get a sense of that. But again, not a straight up bass line, because of course you can go straight into the SiX without any issues on that. I hope this helps. I hope this illuminates some aspects of the SSL SiX and helps you in your decision. Thank you for watching. My name is Jeff. Take really good care of your voices, your studio, and hopefully we'll see you again. Bye.